Welcome to The Explainer. So today we're unpacking something that, honestly, often gets brushed off as just a simple administrative task, but it's actually a completely critical strategic decision. We're talking about booking a corporate training venue. The stakes for these events are incredibly high, right? You're bringing teams together, you're pulling them away from their daily work, and you're investing some pretty significant time and money. If you get the venue wrong, well, the entire day can basically fall flat before it even begins. So we're going to look at exactly why a comprehensive training venue checklist is an event booker's absolute best friend.
Now, what's really interesting about this idea is this powerful rule of thumb. Maximum capacity does not guarantee comfort. It perfectly captures the trap so many organizers fall into. Finding a room that simply fits your head count just isn't enough. You aren't just storing people in a room. You're trying to create an environment that actively dictates and supports learning outcomes. If people are crammed together, they aren't learning. They're literally just surviving the day.
To get into this, we're covering 5 key areas: why a checklist matters, matching objectives to layouts, AV and hybrid technology needs, catering and delegate comfort, and final checks and quotes.
Starting with Section 1. Why a checklist matters. Think of a training venue checklist as your ultimate safety net. It's a practical planning tool that lets you properly assess and compare your options to ensure a space fully supports your specific objectives, your delegates, the tech, and all the logistics. Without it, you're basically flying blind and just hoping for the best, which, as we know, is a guaranteed recipe for last-minute disasters on the day of the event.
There's a massive difference between what we call the head count mindset, which is literally just trying to fit bodies into a room, and the delegate experience mindset. A solid checklist forces you to focus on the experience, prioritizing learning, participation, and actual comfort. Bridging that gap is exactly what gives your facilitator the confidence they need to step up and deliver a truly great session.
Moving to Section 2, matching objectives to layouts.
And this brilliantly illustrates how you absolutely must align your physical space with your learning goals. You wouldn't put a highly collaborative, interactive software training group into a rigid traditional boardroom setup, right? The physical room has to serve the agenda. If you need structured note-taking, a classroom setup is great. But if you're running a collaborative workshop, you need a cabaret setup. Facilitating a deep discussion? Go with a U-shape. The layout isn't a random choice. It's a strategic tool.
So the crucial point here is to ask these physical layout questions before you ever confirm a booking. Don't just ask if the room is available, ask the hard questions. Can everyone actually see the screen? Is there enough table space for laptops and workbooks? And crucially, can the facilitator walk the room without tripping over laptop bags? A really great layout provides the necessary activity space for the energy of the room to naturally flow.
Let's shift our focus to Section 3, AV and hybrid technology needs.
These are the unseen lifelines of modern training. If these fail, the whole thing fails. Technology can absolutely make or break an event. We've all been held hostage by a buffering Zoom call or a screeching microphone that completely halts a presentation in its tracks, right? It's painful. Your checklist acts as a shield against this tech-induced panic, forcing you to confirm these vital requirements very early in the planning phase.
And keep in mind, hybrid training requires significantly more planning than a standard in-room session. You have to consider camera placement, room microphones, and whether the remote participants can actually be seen and heard clearly by the people physically in the room. You have to verify Wi-Fi reliability, and frankly, you must always have a backup plan. A good checklist leaves absolutely nothing to chance here.
Moving right along to Section 4, catering and delegate comfort. This is all about fueling engagement. We're moving from the technical needs to the physiological needs of learning. If you want engagement, you gotta keep the crowd comfortable and properly caffeinated. Catering isn't just a nice perk or an afterthought. It is a vital energy management tool. It's the mechanism for maintaining delegate satisfaction and focus during a grueling full-day training. You absolutely must align the timing of the food and coffee directly with the flow of your agenda to prevent those dreaded post-lunch energy crashes. But comfort goes way beyond food. As a booker, you've got to verify ergonomic seating, natural light, and temperature control. Good acoustics and clear sightlines are just non-negotiables. And crucially, accessible entry for inclusive participation must be a primary consideration right from the start of your selection process, ensuring every single delegate has a seamless, comfortable experience. Also, don't forget the spaces outside the main room. Breakout spaces are totally essential.
Delegates need areas for informal learning, networking, or honestly, just having a quiet space to take a phone call or reset their brains. Your facilitator needs space too. A venue isn't just one room, it's an entire ecosystem that has to fully support your event.
We've reached Section 5, Final Checks and Quotes.
This is the final phase where we wrap up the specific logistics of booking and make sure you're accurately comparing your venue options. Let's talk about the booker's bottom line. When reviewing quotes, you need to look at the total value, not just the basic room hire rate. Does it actually include AV? What are the hybrid meeting costs? What are the cancellation terms? Reviewing these clearly on a checklist avoids any hidden surprises and allows for accurate apples-to-apples comparisons between different venues. Okay, let's dive into this site inspection process. When you're doing a site inspection, treat your checklist as a literal step-by-step journey. Walk in the shoes of a delegate. Experience the arrival and registration. Check the room's setup and technology. Inspect the breakout facilities and catering spaces. And verify the overall environment's accessibility and ambient noise levels. You are basically pressure testing the venue before the big day.
Now let's kick off a rapid-fire look at some common booking mistakes, starting with mistake 1, choosing only by capacity. As we discussed earlier, squeezing 50 people into a room rated for exactly 50 people leaves zero room for table space, laptops, or, basic human movement.
Mistake 2 is underestimating the Wi-Fi. Modern agendas rely so heavily on live polling, shared cloud documents, and hybrid links. If your venue has weak Wi-Fi, your carefully planned interactive session instantly becomes a super frustrating static lecture. No one wants that.
Mistake 3, forgetting breakout spaces. 8 straight hours in one single room is exhausting. Delegates desperately need a change of scenery to reset their brains, grab a coffee, or have a private chat. If you don't book breakout space, the energy of your event will just suffocate.
Mistake 4, leaving catering too late. Literally nothing throws an agenda off track faster than unmanaged dietary requirements or lunch arriving 30 minutes late. Confirm the timing and the dietaries early so the whole day runs like clockwork.
And finally, mistake 5, not briefing the venue properly. The on-site venue team genuinely wants to help you, but they can only support you if they actually have your agenda, your hybrid links, and your special instructions well in advance. Communication is absolutely key.
So I want to leave you with this final provocative question. Are you just booking a room, or are you creating a learning experience? By using a comprehensive training venue checklist, you mitigate your risks and transform a basic administrative chore into a massive strategic success. It sets your delegates, your facilitator, and yourself up for a phenomenal day. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. See you next time.